How y'all doing? My name is Sharima Harvell, best known as Rima the Great, and I am a community leader here in East Harlem. Currently, I work as the community engagement coordinator for the Manhattan DA's office. I've been in this position now about 7 months now, and it didn't start there. I didn't start there. I have been doing community service and community work for the past maybe 4 years. So let me tell you about that and how that began. I wasn't a person that did community work, so this is amazing that I'm even doing this right now. I think between 2016 to 2019, my life was just like all over the place. I didn't have much direction of what I wanted to do after college. I suffered so many different other things at that time. I just knew I wanted to do comedy. So like I started playing with comedy and I said, that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to stick to that. And something at the end of 2019, after I graduated, evolved in me and was like, community service is the thing. Let me tell you a little about my story. I am a mom of four, three on earth, one in heaven. My oldest daughter, she is 24 years old. My second oldest child would have been 21 years old. My third child, she is now 17 years old. And my baby, which is not a baby, is 14 years old. And he's in the room playing video games right now. So if you hear something, it's him. And in 2015, in November, a week before his 13th birthday, I lost my son to an asthma attack in my home. Up to that point, I was a radio personality. I was well known. I was an influencer. This is 2015. This is before everybody else. I was up there right with Cardi B and everything. My life had just took its own toll. I want to say in 2016, between 2016 and 2017, I was addicted to drugs. So that was the thing. The crazy part about this is that I was in school this whole time. I started school in 2014. I went to college in New Rochelle and I was working towards my bachelor's in psychology. Like so in 2016, 2017, as I was taking drugs, I was still going to school and I was grieving and I was not coping properly. And I didn't have bereavement around me. I didn't have mental health services around me. I didn't know anything and no one came to like give me information, right? At the time during that year, there was a lot of people talking about gun violence and losing children to gun violence. And I just always felt like that wasn't my plight. I didn't lose my child to gun violence. You know what I mean? Like my son passed from natural causes. So this was really weird. I didn't have a space. I didn't feel like I had community or a home. The truth of the matter was that I did, and I didn't know it until many moons later. So in 2017, I had suffered a light overdose. I want to call it an overdose. It triggered anxiety and panic in me. I couldn't talk, couldn't see straight, was in and out the psych ward about 17 times in a year. Okay. Between 2017, 2018, I started doing comedy because I felt like the rush of taking the drug, I went cold turkey off of that. And the rush of taking the drug is the same rush I would get as I'm on stage. So I will always tell myself too, which was the weirdest thing. I'm only doing this because wherever I'm going to be in the future, I'll be doing public speaking. I just would talk that into my life. I didn't realize that's exactly where I am today. Did comedy, was killing it, didn't play with it much. And between 2017, 2018, I still did radio. I was a radio station manager for a radio station downtown. And then in 2018, I worked with Fubu Radio and became an advisor for about 6 months. And then in the end of 2018, I think I started working at Chipotle like that summer and until the end. And then the beginning of January 2019, my last semester, and this was the first year sober, and I killed school. I was weird about school because my counselor, excuse me, I was upset with my counselor. My counselor gave me 4 psychology courses and a museum course. And I was like, what? In my last semester? This is crazy. I was able to find a community of folks and that uplifted me, helped me with so much. And when I started school, I had this transformative mentality. And I said, I'm going to get my A. I'm going to get it. I'm just going to get it. I'm going to be the biggest thing that happens this year. This is my last year. I'm going hard. This is my last semester. I'm going hard. So what ended up happening was I just kind of like aced that whole semester because I decided to like team up with my classmates and whatnot. And it was my last year, and I was like, I just want to go hard. Pretty much it was my last year, and I wanted to just go big or go home. And that's exactly what I did. And I ended up getting 3 A's and a B in those psych courses. And at the end of the year, I had went to a couple of like self-improvement courses and things of that nature, and I started wanting to get involved with the community, but I didn't want to get involved with the community personally, right? I just had an idea. So the idea I had was I named it Pass the Passion Project, where it bridged the gap between the youth of a NYCHA development and the entrepreneurs of the NYCHA development. Because I felt like if you had a skill and if you had this thing that you loved, that teaching it to a youth, especially if it's a bankable skill, would be easy. And then the youth on the flip side, with all of the excitement, let's say they were interested in this topic, it could be baking, hair, doesn't matter. The youth then will float your business on social media because that's what they do well, right? They're really quick with marketing and branding. They don't even know that's what it's called. I had this idea. I'm not doing it. I don't want to deal with children. I don't have my baby. I think somebody else needs to do this. And what I ended up doing was one day came. They was having an event downstairs of my apartment. And my daughter goes, Mom, you should go downstairs and talk to those people. I was like, I'm not talking to them. I was one of those people that seen a resource fair and was like, hey, kids, go get a Frank. Hey, go pick up a backpack. I don't need nothing from them. They don't have anything I need. I was never involved. But I went downstairs and they said, hey, we are giving the community $30,000 for an idea on how to improve the community or bring a program in. And I was like, no way, right? So I wrote on the paper the idea. I gave it directly to the person that was in charge. And about 2 weeks later, while I was getting ready to do stand up, here he go call me, hey Rima, come out to this meeting. I go to the meeting and come to find out my idea was put in a proposal. Never seen that before. And it was amazing to just be a part of that, right? And I was like, I picked my idea. I mean, I've done so many things to feel self-worth, but in that moment I just felt chosen. And it was like, yo, this is crazy. And then he said, well, it got to go on a vote and the community got to vote it. And let's see what they say. Sometime in February of 2020, right before the world shut down, was at a meeting, a community meeting for my development and whatnot. And at that meeting, I met this woman, and a woman and I started talking. Come to find out, she actually was one of the supervisors of that program as well. And I told her, well, I'm the one that had the idea. She said, guess which one won? She said, guess which one won? I said, what? It won? My idea won? And it was in that moment that I kept having ideas out loud. When COVID hit, at the time that COVID hit, I was doing stand up every week. I had my own open mic in Brooklyn. I was just going for it, right? I had this big vision of I'm going to open up for Lunel because I'm a deaf comic, promise you that. I'm going to open up for Lunel and twice this year. That's my goal. I'm claiming it, declaring it, and then COVID hit. Things was not funny anymore. The world shut down. And I looked around and said, where's my leaders at? Where's the leaders at? And honestly, there were a few, but I didn't see the ones I needed. So I decided to go outside and join that same team where I won, right? And what I did was from, I want to say April of 2020 to October 2020, I, with a team of about maybe 7 of us, we had fed the disabled and the seniors in our community. It was in that volunteer work that I was able to discover that I might have answers. So people had like simple problems, like simple things. Who do I talk to about this? Where do I go for that? Simple problems. And I'm like, you just go down the block. You just talk to this person. You know how to do this. And I was just finding myself being an answer, not knowing that I was an answer before. I'm like, now I have an answer. I have an answer. So the more I ask questions or the more people talk to me, I was able to get more information about that. Being a part of that particular team, we had a lot of assistance from the government and stuff like that. The program was called the Mayor's Action Plan. And I live in Wagner Houses, so it was like a program that was right here. And I'm like getting all these resources. So I got all these answers and I'm excited to just be a part of the community as a whole. In October, I had between September and October, I want to say we have been working really close with a local organization by the name of Exodus Transitional Community. And as we were working with Exodus, I was able to build a rapport. And Exodus is a reentry organization. However, they were local. And I used to go there just to like print flyers. And there was this guy that was working in the youth department as a director. And one day I came in there and I printed a whole lot of flyers. And I was like, oh my God, right? And he goes, well, we're hiring. Would you be interested in a youth mentor position part-time? And I'm like, I don't know, right? Like, I don't know, we're working kids, but sure, why not? And at the time, we had so much money because you had unemployment, Social Security, welfare. Like, I was a welfare mom, so I had all of that going on. I didn't need a job like that, right? But I didn't mind. Like, it just was more to it. And what I found out was that my daughter used to be a part of this program many years before that, right after my son passed. So I was like, oh snap, this is pretty like a nice little full circle. So I do the program. I'm there dealing with the youth. I did facilitation with the youth twice a week. Wrote programs, started learning how to write program and things of that nature, and write out lesson plans. And then I want to say about 4 months in, and I was still working with the S.M.A.R.T program, like as a volunteer, because I still had the time. About 4 months in, I got offered an opportunity to become the alternative to incarceration facilitator at the space. Now, I'm gonna tell you, I know nothing about being incarcerated. I know nothing about having an open case. I have no idea about court, nothing. But what I do know and what I took with me was community and that we were human. So every time I would walk in, I just let them know, like, hey, we're all great. Y'all great. I'm Rima the Great. Y'all great. And you're human and you have a right, a birthright to be treated well. And, I just did a lot of that. But what I also did was say, would y'all like to go outside into my community and help out? So I snuck in volunteer hours with the participants. And I was like, it looks good on your paperwork for court. And it did. And they came out and they worked with me inside the community with the program. And I became a partner to the program. I no longer had the opportunity to do volunteer work the same way I was in that capacity. So I would just volunteer. I would partner and come table as Exodus. And on Saturdays, I would table. I tabled after work. It didn't matter. I was always outside just promoting Exodus. And then one day came 5 months later. I was like, sir, I want to be the program. I want to be the outreach engagement director. I want to be the director of community engagement for Exodus. And he's like, 2 weeks later, he calls me to his office and he goes, I got a position for you. It's called Community Engagement Outreach Director for a program I'm calling Live from Rikers. Live from Rikers is a program about just bringing music and entertainment into RNDC, which is one of the houses on Rikers Island, creating a mirror component of programming. So bring the program in there because they have podcasting and all this other stuff like recording studio equipment on the grounds and doing it there, but also building out a space that we called later on the Grace Center on 124th Street and 3rd, and having that as a recording studio. So now you're doing all this work inside. When you come home, you have some place to go. It made a lot of sense. I was all with it, and my job was to just engage the community. However, because we were still in the height of COVID, this is 2021. We had some other obligations to do on the island. So we're dealing with like programming and helping them with tablets and all kinds of stuff that had nothing to do too much with the community part. But I paid attention to what I had and I had time. So I asked myself, what is something I want to learn in that time? And I decided to pick up a book called Grant Writers for Dummies on Amazon. And I read 2 chapters, and I always tell the story the same way. I read 2 chapters of the story, right? And about maybe 2 weeks later, a week later, one of the board members that used to visit me all the time, he comes to me and he says, Rima, you think we could do something with this RFP? RFP is request for proposal. And it said the S.M.A.R.T program, East Harlem, right? It had 3 nitrogen developments. It had my home, Wagner, had Jefferson and Johnson. He said, what do you think? Can Exodus do this? And I said, heck yeah, we can do that. I knew the program. I knew everything about this program. So I went and then I wrote the grant. Not knowing I was writing a proposal, I wrote it. And just like I created everything else, a couple of months in, we won the grant. And it wasn't $500,000, it was a $1.5 million grant. And at that point, I just was like, I gotta keep going. I get to keep going. So for the next year, as I'm building out this program and bonding with these developments and reaching out to folks and bringing all these resources that I've already naturally been gathering from previous work together to really do work on the grounds, I said, this is what I want to do the rest of my life. This is it right here. I want to do community engagement. And I don't want to do regular community engagement. I want to do community engagement in such a way that I use their money and their funds to bring love into these spaces. And I want to see what love look like. So I just partnered with a bunch of organizations, gave them a lot of love, and had them push that love out into these communities that I was working in. Did a lot of on-ground events and stuff. And then somewhere in May, I was like, I want to go to the DA office. They had an initiative that was working with the two developments I had, and I really wanted to work on that initiative more. And I felt like being at Exodus, I wasn't able to do that because I was under the other contract. And I was like, I really want to work on this initiative, and I think I can help. And you know what? Count me in. So I resigned from my position after a year, and I had been being scouted for the DA office actually. So like the whole summer, my now supervisor, my now boss was watching me as I was organizing events and being in the community, and he's seeing how I am. And it was just an easy win, and I got the job. Why all of this? And now what I'm doing, I'm currently becoming mastered in public administration and affairs. I'm going to Metropolitan College. And as I look back over this time that I've been doing community work and engagement, the bigger piece for me is what am I leaving behind? Why am I doing this, right? And it's been hard. Sometimes it's gotten hard. It's been challenging. But what I find about being challenging, I tend, whenever I'm getting into this space that things are like, it doesn't seem like it's working out for me, I get curious about my future. I get curious. And then I start to create, right? So I'm curious to know, because what's going to happen? What's things that's going to happen in my life, right? I have children. I'm going to have grandbabies. One day I'm going to have grandbabies. I can't wait to have a little grandbaby, right? And with that grandbaby, if I get 1, 2, 3, 5, 10, doesn't matter, right? With these grandbabies, I plan on making cookies and baking cookies and being that grandma, like, and being able to empower them and tell them mantras and affirmations and all that stuff, things I didn't know I was able to do with my kids, and probably did, but didn't recognize a name for it or call it something. I'll be able to do that with these babies, and I'm excited to have that, right? That's coming in my future. Another thing that's coming in my future, as long as I'm on this this route of community engagement and networking and self-improvement, right? As long as I'm going to school, I'm going to meet new groups of people. I'm going to be welcomed into new circles. As I continue to move forward, I get to have that. What does that circle look like? How do I network with people that can come in to help my community? How do I talk to you guys on your level and then translate it to my people in my community? Maybe they don't talk scholarly, right? But I can talk scholarly now, right? And I can be in those rooms, in those circles with folks talking about the change that they would like to see happen. However, none of them ever lived. None of them ever had to walk past what we walk past over here in these developments. None of them had to really walk through a landmine of dog poo. Not one had to worry about people being shot in front of their buildings or people falling off of rooftops and dying in front of mass of people. We go through so much trauma in this space. However, they are the ones that are sitting in these rooms and they are making decisions. So I said, what if I put myself in position and I self-improve me so much that I could sit in these rooms alongside of them to help them make decisions for the folks that are not able to sit in that room? So I get curious. What is that stamp going to look like? When I say, hey, this might be a solution over here. This might be a solution. And they listen, because that's who I am. I'm a creator. And as I am even in this space with you guys right now, I just want to shout out your professor, Dr. Barnaby. I love you so much, sis. And y'all make sure y'all look out, because whatever we get ready to do, it involves a lot of y'all, and we're going to need that help. So as y'all are moving through elevating yourselves, I want you to stay curious about what's going to happen, because there's things that's going to happen just because you're on this path. Yes, we're going to have a lot of hardship, a lot of things going to tell us to stop, things going to tell us you can't do it. People going to be there, falling to the wayside. You're going to lose friends. You might lose relationships. You might lose a job here or there. But stay on the path, because it'll all pay off sooner than you think. Sooner than you think. If you would have asked me, if you would have told me in 2016, this is where I would be today, I would have laughed in your face. Matter of fact, somebody told me that in 2017. I was sitting there clicking a button as a radio station personality, radio station manager, clicking a button. She goes, I'm so proud of your future. I wish I knew this lady's name. I'm so proud and excited for your future. And I looked at her and I was like, what do you see? Like, this is whack. This is not it. This is not. And now I'm sitting here like, this is what she saw? So I don't need to know y'all to know that's what I see in y'all. Just because you're watching this tape in school, this is what I see for you. I see greatness. I see people waiting for whatever it is that you're about to deliver to them. They're waiting on you. The longer you take, longer it's going to take for you to get for them to get what they need. So do what you got to do. Keep your chin up. Keep your head up. Keep moving forward. And I'm going to see you on the other side, because I'm not stopping. And as I go, we go. As I go, we go. And with that being said, my name is Rima the Great, and I am a community leader in East Harlem that is aspiring to be a leader, period, in Harlem in the next year and then beyond after that. And you guys have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the semester. I'll see you soon. Bye.